Hey guys, so just got out of a therapy session with Laura, and this is a dress that I'm wearing, like an overall dress, but anyway, it's gauze. It's not denim, it's gauze. It's very lightweight, very breathable, very cool, very comfortable. So I'm gonna toot my own horn because I got through a very difficult 4 days without a single suicidal thought. Not one. Not one. Okay? And you might think that sounds ridiculous, but considering that has been my go to reaction to stressful things and trauma and things going wrong, that is a big deal to me. So if you don't think it's a big deal, whatever, but it is to me. So I am gonna make some noise about it. Woo! So I'll tell you what happened. So over the weekend, I got my time of the month, my period, and I hadn't quite started yet, but I was about to. I had all the signs, and perimenopause, can be a bit silly. So I had to push myself unexpectedly hard to get things done that normally I would have been able to take my time to do. My sister changed some plans, and that lessened time I had to do work at Christy's house. That's where I'm going to move to. I still don't know when, but I was trying to measure out space for my posters, my geek shit, this one, that one. There's, let's say, about Bowser, Godzilla, Optimus Prime, 12th Doctor, Piccolo over there. Um, I've got posters, and these fairy lights will also be over there, but I don't want to move them till I move. And that mirror is going to be part of the thing too. The mirror is going to go above this dresser, but this dresser is going to be facing outward with the handles towards you rather than stuck against the corner like this. And what I have is this cascading thing of fairy lights, like a waterfall, and I'm probably going to adjust them and spiral them along the walls. I don't know yet. I'm still working it out, but I can't really figure that out till I get the dresser and the mirror hung up and get the dresser in the room where I need it to be, because the dresser is going to be the focal point of the room. Every designer knows there has to be a focal point. Anyway, so what I did is I've got these silver iridescent butterflies. They're like party favorites, but I'm hanging them up there as like a permanent thing. I had little push pins that have like a diamond gemstone tip to them, so they're a bit sparkly. And because Christy doesn't like adhesives on her walls, so I'm like, okay. And I found these push pins in the garage. They were mom's. So I'm like, okay, we can work with this. Because otherwise I was just going to use clear ones. But I found these sparkly pretty ones, and I'm like, I love sparkle. So I got all these butterflies up in the room, and it looks like they're flying around the room. Like when you walk in the door to the left side, it's like they're coming towards you along the wall, and then they stop on the door, and then they return on the other wall where my bed is going to be. And it's like they're making a circle, and then the backsplash is like kind of like this infinity shape almost of butterflies, like a lemniscate of butterflies. So it looks like they are emerging from and returning to this waterfall of fairy lights. And that's a tribute to my mom, because she's sending me butterflies from heaven, and I think they go back there when they've been seen. So that's just me. I don't want any kind of, oh God, doesn't exist stuff in my comments. Just atheists, chill. All right, chill, chill. I keep looking over to the side, or maybe it's to this side to you, for my camera, but it's at the top now. It's there. It's right there. But I keep looking like to one side where it used to be on my old iPad. So if I look to the side and then up, just know I'm looking for the camera. Um, but Laura got on my case a bit again, which rightfully so, about the fact that I need to be more assertive, because I'm so used to being kind of run over and shut down when I try to make my needs known, or if I try to say that, hey, I'm upset, I had plans. And because this Saturday, Marcy got a last minute invitation to a baseball game, Angels. And of course, I'm an Angels girl. My dad's a Dodgers guy, so on him. And on Dodgers fans. But I'm kidding. Whatever team you like, love them. Okay. I cheer for the Dodgers when they're on TV too because they're my dad's team. But I'm an Angels girl at heart. Okay? But anyway, and I'm not a sports person, but Angels are my team. Anyway. So Marcy got a last minute invitation to the Angel game, so I didn't get the time that I was hoping to get on Saturday to, get things done because I wanted to measure room for my posters, measure space on the walls. I used thumbtacks to kind of, and a tape measure to basically get the idea of how tall and wide my posters are. My Doctor Who poster. How tall, how wide, because they're slightly different sizes. And my Optimus poster is actually the largest one, and the Godzilla poster is slightly smaller. And this one's only larger because of the frame. But anyway, I have a vision of how I want them hung up, and I'm gonna have to work on getting them more level because I basically just threw them up there to see how much space I got on the walls. Excuse me. And I did find an old Nintendo Power Magazine Fox McCloud poster, so I just tacked that to the wall in there. There was a spot I saw, and I'm like, ooh. And so Fox is up on my wall in my new place, or what will be my new place. So Fox McCloud, that was my first boyfriend. I was 13. Okay, y'all. I mean, y'all have no idea how much I screamed when I saw Fox McCloud in Super Mario Galaxy. Okay, like my old 13-year-old fangirl just leapt out of my tits and just went screaming. Okay, and I still love Fox. He's so suave. But anyway, so measured out space for my posters. And then I had a bunch of clothes in like this huge bag. They were my nicer clothes, like my church clothes and stuff. So I had to hang them up individually very carefully so that they wouldn't get all wrinkled up any worse than they already were, anyway. Um, and that took a lot more time than I expected. And so when I finally got to starting to pin up the butterflies, I had to go home. And I was hormonal, I was getting my period, but I accommodated Marcy because, this was a fun thing. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, she gets to go to a ball game and I have to sit at home with my dad, who is a jerk. But I dealt with that. And I was just frustrated because I just wanted to get done. But Marcy made it up to me by taking me back Sunday and saying, take as long as you need. So Sunday, I was getting my period. So I was having all kinds of body aches, muscle aches, the cramps were starting to really kick up. And, I was just constantly hungry, constantly thirsty, and I just had a raging headache. But I had to push through and get all this done. And I did. I got my vision completed of, the butterfly vision. I got that completed. So, yay. This is deaf applause, by the way. Yay. But I'm not deaf, but anyway. Um, so I got my vision completed, and Laura kind of got on my case because I didn't assert myself on Saturday, but I told her that I didn't want to come off as a jerk and deny Marcy a chance to have fun because God knows that's happened to me so much. I don't want to do it to someone else. And she's like, but it upset you, and you have a right to say that it upset you. And I'm like, when I say something upsets me, I get yelled at by people. And she's like, no, that's your dad. Your dad yells at you. Everybody else isn't your dad. She had to remind me that everybody else isn't my dad. I've been so programmed by him that changes in anyone's demeanor I just I just kind of go into a freeze fawn. When it's my dad, I go into fight. But with people that I'm not sure if they're going to still like me or not, it's like a freeze fawn. Like I shut down and then I just immediately want to please them. And and be agreeable and all that. So I told her, I'm like, no. And she's like, well, what happens when you do? And I'm like, I get yelled at. She's like, that's your dad. This is Marcy. And I'm like, next time I will do that. And she's like, yes, you will. You need to be assertive. It's not mean to be assertive. You know, being mean is throwing insults and calling her a bitch because she's going off to have fun. You know, if you'd gone to her and be like, you mean bitch, you're just leaving me here, that's being mean. But saying, I feel cheated and I wish you weren't going to this game, that's being assertive. And, you know, but I didn't want to deny Marcy a chance to have fun because, on top of all this, her stepmom is in the process of dying from pancreatic cancer. And we thought she was going to go Saturday, but she's lingering, and it's really painful and hard on everybody. And Marcy doesn't live where her stepmom is, so she's getting it through messages, you know, because her brothers, because her dad, she has a different dad than me. Excuse me. So me and Marcy were like technically half sisters, you know, same mom, different dads. We're like Inuyasha and Sesshomaru, except it's different dads instead of different moms. So, you know. But Marcy would be the one with the pretty hair and the forehead moon because she's the older one. So, anyway, sit. Ugh. Yeah. I watch Inuyasha, okay? I love it. I love Sesshomaru. But anyway, you know, so her stepmom is dying, so my sister has to plan the possibility of having to leave for a funeral with very little short notice. So she's trying to plan around that and get ready for that. So, but since her stepmom didn't pass Saturday, she kind of relaxed a bit and she took me back to Christy's place on Sunday and she's like, take as long as you need. So I was able to accomplish what I needed to, my vision. But like I said, I was working against my body, which was telling me to rest and slow down and stop. And, you know, I had basically been go, 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 go since Saturday, like not really getting rest like I needed to. And that was hard. And then Monday, the bad day hit with the really horrible cramps, and my body let me know that I had misused it because I was in horrible pain. Like, it was rough. And if that wasn't bad enough, the plumbing backed up. So like I'm literally throwing up, having diarrhea, and having to call the handyman to come and deal with the plumbing problem. And he couldn't come until Tuesday. So, you know, I'm crying, screaming, throwing up, having diarrhea, and just a mess, you know, not coping well. Dad is being a needy asshole nonstop, even though he knows I don't feel well and he didn't care. And that's basically predictable, so that was not a surprise to me. But just the fact that he was doing this when I was already just at my limit. And then Tuesday, the handyman comes, and I'm still having really bad cramps because when I overdo it, I get 2 days of cramps as a reward instead of just one day. So I was still having them. They were not as bad, but they were still bad enough that I needed to lay down and sleep and rest, and I couldn't because I had to field all these things. My dad had a doctor's appointment. I had to be able to let people in and out. You know, I had to let the handyman in and out. I had to listen for the phone. You know, I had to do all these things. I was a fountain of cortisol, and like all my coping skills just basically just went and but I did not go into the suicidal thoughts. And that is where the victory is. And then, but anyway, so handyman gets done, he leaves. Sometime between when he left and when I went to take a shower, the shower backed up. So it was full of sewage and mud and shit. And so I had to basically take a shower, half in and half out. I got my hair, my armpits, and my crotch washed because I was having my period. I needed to get the smelly bits to not smell anymore. Because, you know, if you have periods, you know it gets smelly when it's hot weather like it's been because you sweat more, or at least I do. I mean, I look like I'm in the landing scene of airplane during my period. It's like, oh, it's disgusting in hot weather, like horrible. So just I broke down crying and screaming. I was raging, and I had to call Dale, and I was sobbing into the phone that the shower backed up. It backed up after you left. I thought we were all in the clear, and he's like, "It's okay, it's okay. I'll come by tomorrow. It'll be all right. You just sit down and drink something cold. You'll be fine." And he took care of me. God bless him. So he came, took care of the problem, and after he left, and my shoulders relaxed, and I was just like, "Holy shit, I did it." I I got through a shitty couple days full of stress without thinking about killing myself. And I'm really fucking proud of that. Anyway, if you listen to this whole thing, tell me you want to lay Rodan's eggs. Okay? That's how I know who listened and who didn't. So, because ironically, that does work. Getting people to say the phrase actually does work. Although if people read the comments, they can cheat, but I digress. Tell me you'll lay Rodan's eggs. Because I accomplished a lot, even though it was really stressful. I got through it. And Laura told me I'm tougher than I think I am, and she's right. I'm beginning to really believe her. Even though I fell down, I cried, I screamed, I threw up, I shit everywhere in the toilet, but still, it felt like everywhere. It was hard, but I survived. And sometimes you just got to be like, that was hard, but I survived. And just keep your shit together as best you can. That's all. So get through those hard times. What are you doing listening to me? Go on, get. I love you, but go on. Go deal with your hard stuff. Bye.